always with the making more work for myself. Because, of course, I can't just look at one 2-pack at the same time. I've got to look at two 2-packs at the same time. Because, or rather, two figures from one 2-pack at the same time. You know what I meant. Point is, today we're looking at the Earthspark Cyber Combiners. That is two different 2-packs composed of Mo and Bumblebee, and Robby and Twitch. So I have not seen Earthspark yet. I still want to, it's just we don't have Paramount Plus, and I'm not going to subscribe to a thing just to watch one show. So I just kind of have to be patient and try and figure out a way to catch it at some point in the future. But point is, I only know a tiny bit about it. I know the whole, like, Terrans thing in a very broad strokes kind of way. I know that the Autobots and some Decepticons are working together now. I know that Mo and Robby are brother and sister, or sister and brother, respectively. And that's pretty much all I know. I know of some of the other characters, like Thrash and Nightshade, Alita 1, Optimus Prime, that kind of thing. Hashtag, I think, which is a really fun name, but like I haven't seen much about Hashtag. I just know that she exists. But point is, I barely know anything about Earthspark, but I have these figures because a lot of people have been talking about them, and the videos that I watched were like, these figures are actually really, they're simple and compromised, as you can clearly see. Like Bumblebee and Twitch are very compromised already, but like they're really, really fun. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try and try them out, because on Amazon they're $25 each, which I actually forgot to double check this before starting the recording. So let me just reach on over to the laptop, which is sitting just off camera here, and take a look at the listings to see if they are still up for the same price. And yes, okay, so as of this recording, which by the time this video goes up could actually be a month later, so I'll just let you all know I'm recording this on January 14th, 2024. So this could change, but as of this recording, both of these 2-packs are selling for $24.99 each. And personally, I would say that based on the amount of entertainment I get from these figures, $25 each is a freaking steal. So if you watch this video and you like what you see and you think you might enjoy it, I'd say, if nothing else, absolutely buy one of the 2-packs if you can find them for like that $25. I think $30 might be the retail store, like brick and mortar store price range. But if you can find it for like $25-30, do not hesitate. Get at least one of the 2-packs, because if you think these look like fun, I guarantee you will enjoy them. So, with that preamble out of the way, where do we start? I guess we'll start with Bumblebee and Mo. I can't really think of a specific reason. It's what the heck, we'll do that one. So, of the two of them, we'll start with Mo. And actually, both Mo and Robby are in like these kind of exosuits. Mo's exosuit is a little bit slimmer. She's got the wings. And I guess it makes sense because, like, I don't know anything about the characters, but it makes sense that like one of them would be, the slimmer, more agile looking one, and the other one would be like the kind of heavier bruiser looking one. It's actually kind of similar to Twitch and Bumblebee, except Bumblebee comes with the slim and agile looking one, and Twitch comes with the sturdy, chunky looking one. Which is a little bit of a, like, it basically, each 2-pack, you've got the kind of denser character and the slimmer character. It's just, in this 2-pack, the slimmer character is the human. In the other 2-pack, the slimmer character is the Transformer. But I actually think it's better when you put like the slim with slim and chunkier with chunkier. Also, I kind of prefer to put these two together and these two together, but we'll get to that. Anyway, the exosuit does actually look pretty good. There's a nice amount of color separation here between the grays and the blacks and these kind of seafoam green. I don't know colors to that extent, but it's a cool kind of color layout. I like that it separates things so nicely. I think the kind of viewport chest and the bubble helmet thing is pretty cool. It's not even all that terribly compromised from the back in terms of like waffling and kibble. Like there is some kibble hanging off, but that's understandable. And yes, there is some waffling, but like especially considering the price range and the, you know, I'm sure intended age range of these toys, the waffling is like, it's whatever. But she looks good. I do like that they actually did quite a bit with painting this kind of really dark gunmetal on the thighs and parts of the biceps. And you can see when you zoom in, the shoulders are, yeah, the biceps was right, but like the shoulders are asymmetrical, which is cool. I think that that's a nice little detail. Robby does it too, but Robby also has the asymmetrical thighs. I kind of wish that they had pushed that asymmetrical stuff with Mo beyond just the shoulders, because it's barely noticeable. I mean, it is noticeable, but it's not as noticeable as I would like. But still, the colors look good together. The green even actually shows up on this bluish gray surprisingly well. I like the sort of angular wings that she's got going on. And I also think this is incredibly cool. Like, other people have pointed this out too, but like the heads actually they're empty domes, and you actually have their human heads in there. You can see them through the plastic. That is an excellent use of translucent plastic. I love that. Though I am realizing just now, it's something I never really put together, but you get this nice silver paint over the translucent green plastic in the head and torso, or head and chest, but there's no silver anywhere else. You get a little bit more of that green on the backs of the hands, which is good, but like there is no other silver anywhere in this exosuit mode, and that's a little bit of a shame. Like maybe they could have swapped in silver for like some of this gunmetal, or maybe added some silver down here. I don't know. But looking at this from the fact that it's meant to be like more of a younger demographic, budget-ish toy, 2-pack of toys no less, I can kind of understand. It's not a huge thing. It's just a thing I'm noticing, is what I'm saying. But yeah, she looks pretty cool. Now, there is a decent amount of articulation on her, as well as Robby and Twitch and Bumblebee. Robby and Mo's articulation is pretty much identical. It's just there are some disappointing bits to how it all comes together. So there is no head articulation, which does bum me out, but considering the nature of everything going on, and again, budgets, I'm okay enough with that. It's a little bit of a disappointment, but it's not like, you know, oh, this is terrible. The shoulders are on ball joints, so they can theoretically go all the way around, but the wings get in the way. But the wings are on these little hinges back here, so you can actually swing the wings out of the way to go around all the way. And incidentally, the wings are swivelable back here, so you can adjust their angle a bit. But yeah, you've got the ball jointed elbows. You have a single jointed, or ball jointed shoulders, single jointed elbow that bends to 90. There is no bicep rotation, but you can kind of use the ball socket for the shoulder a little bit to get a small approximation of bicep swivel. No wrist articulation, but you can break the forearm in half and swing it around for the transformation. There is no waist articulation, which I am completely fine with given the nature of how all of this works. The hips can go forward to 90, can go back pretty far, even with this junk hanging off the back here, and can go out past 90. There is no thigh swivel or even a knee swivel. That bums me out. That is the piece of articulation in all of these figures that bothers me the piece of missing articulation in all of these figures that bothers me the most. None of these figures have thigh swivels. None of them have bicep swivels. None of them have waist or head swivels either. But like the thigh swivels are the biggest disappointment for me, because if they just had thigh swivels, you could get so much more expressive with them, at least in my mind, and you just can't because there are no thighs. That just bums me out. But anyway, the knees do bend. They kind of lock in, and then when you push them past that locking point, they're kind of loose, but they get the job done, and they bend to almost 90. And then the toes, if you want, can push up a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So kind of limited articulation, but not terrible for what it is. And Mo in particular comes with this sword, which is pretty neat. I have no clue why the handle for the sword is on a swiveling hinge like that. It might just be something to do with the way it's molded. Maybe the idea is that you can like peg it onto her back and have it hang down like that, or like on one of the other characters' back. But then like, why have the peg here? Like you could just do that. I don't understand why there's a swiveling peg there, but whatever. So yeah, there is Mo. And now looking at the other part of the 2-pack, we have Bumblebee, and Bumblebee's car is making a lot of sacrifices for the sake of what this toy and all these toys do. It's got the right basic shape down, but then you've got these enormous and egregious yellow pegs or posts, whatever, inside the wheels. There are, the windows are all painted, which is nice, and I feel like is probably necessary for this, but then you've got this giant hinge going through the middle, which again, based on how this works, that's understandable, but it's still just like a little unsightly. This doesn't bother me anywhere near as much as the lack of paint in robot mode, though. We'll get to that. Black stripes going down the front here. No black stripes up here, but I don't remember if I think that is supposed to be up there, but yeah, it's not. Blue little headlights, which are fine, but it does kind of, I don't know, I feel like maybe if those were silver, kind of stand out from this a little bit better. There's a lot of nice detailing on the front grille section of the car, but it's not painted at all, and that would be nice. I will say, though, I enjoy these figures enough that I am actually seriously considering painting them after the fact. Like, maybe sometime later when I have the time and energy, I will actually sit down and paint them, but for now, this is how they come. And around back, you've got molded in taillights, but no actual paint back here, which again, it's understandable given the budgetary stuff and whatnot. And also you've got this back here, which I wonder what that's for. And you've got this spring-loaded flappy thing up here, and you've got pegs on the side, and like, oh, look, it's almost an entire robot on the underside. So yeah, Bumblebee is fairly compromised, but he rolls well, and again, considering everything that these figures do, I understand why he is like this. Now, getting back to the other 2-pack, here is Robby, and Robby's articulation is exactly the same as most. So we're not going to go over articulation with Robby, but I like the slightly thicker limbs that are on this particular exosuit. He comes with this big bazooka-looking thing that it could actually work as like a rocket launcher if you wanted to. You could just kind of swing it around this way, and it looks more like a kind of standard rocket launcher. Incidentally, there is no port back here, but there is a port on the front here, and it is blast effect compatible. So that is something you can do if you want. Also, if you wanted to, you could unpeg the cannon thing and plug that onto his back, so you could store it back there if you want. But yeah, as I said, the articulation's okay. I do need to make one adjustment in what I said about the articulation, but his articulation, or two adjustments, but yeah, his articulation on a basic level is the same as Mo's. I'll get to the arms in a minute, but like legs are exactly the same. It's like the front, the back, the out, the pretty much 90-degree knee bend, the locking thing, the toes can go up a little bit, that kind of thing. Head and waist do not move. Shoulders are the same with the around and the out, but because of the way this thing works, you can actually unpeg this section and get a little bit of like an outward butterfly. It's not much, and it looks really bad if you go out too far, but you can angle the arms a little bit that way. And as you probably saw, the elbows bend a lot more than 90, and actually even more than this, again, due to how this works. If you unpeg this section here, you can actually bring the elbows up all the way to 90, or 180, so better arm articulation on Robby, but still no bicep swivels, still no thigh swivels, still no waist swivels, still no neck swivel, which is a bummer. But I think of the two exosuits, his is my preferred one because, I should bring this down again, because I just think the proportions are a little bit nicer. I like the way that the colors are broken up a little bit more here. How you've got the like 4 bits of this turquoisey seafoamy color down in the shins, and then the gunmetal-y color up in the thighs. Whereas with Mo, the green is like close to the knees, and then the thighs are right there. So like there's not as much space between the different colors, whereas with Robby, there's a bit more room for everything to breathe, so you can kind of appreciate this patch of bluish gray a little bit more, or at least I do. The arms, you've got the black for this joint and then the dark gunmetal here, and those kind of blend together in a good way. Of course, the kind of bluish seafoam for the outer fists, and then you've got the translucent greenish plastic for the chest and the head, with the silver around there, and also, just like Mo, you've got Robby's human head inside the helmet. And I think that's really cool. It would be even cooler if the head could turn, but that's still really cool. That is neat, and one of the only times I will compliment translucent plastic. And we already went over his weapon. But yeah, that is Robby, and also Robby has tank tread feet. So, there we go. And now, Twitch's cube with VTOL fans on it. Like, I know Twitch's alt mode is supposed to be a drone. And this kind of captures the basic notes of that design from what I've seen, primarily based on the deluxe figure, which I don't own, but after messing around with these figures, it has me kind of interested. I'm thinking about it. But you've got the intakes and things down here, which it does sit really low. Would be nice if this could come up a little bit more so it's more centered, but whatever. You've got this little window section up here. You, of course, have the VTOLs around here. Her vehicle mode, there's less paint on display than there is with Bumblebee's vehicle mode, but there is as much, if not more, color breakup because you have the big red section, which is all red plastic, but then you have some black here. You've got the translucent orangey yellow for the VTOLs. You've got yellow. You've got what's painted up here. And this actually plays a part in robot mode. Absolutely nothing you see paint-wise on Bumblebee's vehicle mode is a part of the robot mode. So that's a shame. And that will also be a problem later. But yeah, her alt mode is definitely compromised, just like Bumblebee's, where you've got the arms just kind of chilling on the bottom. The obvious robot legs are just kind of tucked in, though they tuck in nicely enough. And I kind of appreciate just how clever it is that they used these bits here, which are necessary for one of the transformations, that they actually kind of tuck in and cover the gaps on what will become the backs of the legs here. That's really clever considering the, whole nature of this toy. But yeah, Twitch doesn't really have articulation to speak of in this mode. She doesn't roll. You can, if you want, angle the VTOLs. That's more, again, for transformation. You can also, if you want, rotate the wings on the front VTOLs. They can actually rotate all the way around. There are like these little nubs here that stop them at different points. So like this is all the way this way, and this is all the way this way. Also, these are connected on ball joints, so you can untab these from here, and they don't really tab in super solidly, but you can untab them and angle them up, kind of wiggle them a bit, rotate them if you want to, but that's pretty much all you're going to get out of Twitch. Now, size-wise, okay, since Mo and Robby are the same height, I'm just going to use Mo for the sake of just physical space on the table and on camera. But here we've got Twitch and Bumblebee and one of the humans in their exosuit. And here is Artfire and our surrogate Tall Deluxe Ova Prime, Samus Amiibo, and for the vehicles, there is Deluxe Burnout. So yeah, that is how all of that stacks up. So Bumblebee and Twitch are roughly deluxe size in vehicle mode, maybe actually a little bit bigger, which is kind of cool. They, again, are very compromised, but once again, considering the nature of everything, I'm okay with that. Now, I don't have any other Earthspark figures on hand to do comparisons with, unfortunately, but I do have the mainstay of the Duck Tank. Okay, now, since I feel like my shilling the Patreon thing just takes too long, I'm just going to try and shorten it at this point. So, I have a Patreon. I also have a Ko-fi. If either of those things sound appealing to you as a means of support, I've got links at the end of the video or down in the description. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel, you could always do the YouTube thing of like, comment, share, subscribe, etc. So now let us do the transformation thing. Mo and Robby do not have alternate modes, so we're just going to put them off to the side for now, and we are going to work on the Transformers. I'm intentionally not saying Autobots because I am aware that Twitch is actually a Terran, not an Autobot. But I think because we started with Bumblebee and Mo last time, we'll start with Twitch this time. So, transforming Twitch, it's very simple, the transformations on both of these figures. But for Twitch, I want to take the legs and accordion them back. They're on a double hinge with pivot points here and here. So just kind of pull that back, and you just kind of want to angle it so that these slide out from under these little flaps here. But angle that and pull them out. The legs will probably separate, but you can separate them whenever you want. They just kind of vaguely tap together. Hinge this down so that you can straighten out the legs. Rotate the VTOLs back 90 degrees, and then come in here and pull down the toes. And there is the lower body all done. You want to take the VTOL wings, and they will peg in on the side there. So unpeg them, rotate them up, and then peg them in up here. And this peg is even less accommodating than this peg, especially on this side. So that's something to be aware of. But with that moved, you can rotate this around. Same deal here. I'm just going to rotate it now, but rotate that around, unpeg it, rotate it up, peg it back in. This one does not, like it comes out really easily, but do that. Now you want to take the arms and unpeg them from these little pegs here. And with that unpeg, you can swing the arm around on this joint and clip that into place. And when you are transforming Twitch into her vehicle mode, this peg actually does snap into the forearm. You'll actually feel it and probably hear it. If you get it lined up and you push it in, it will actually click down. And that keeps it nice and locked in. So that is something to be aware of. But unpeg it, swing it around, and clip it in. And I'm just going to go over this now because, as I said, the articulation on everything is very limited and very similar, but Twitch, because of the nature of the transformation, gets a little bit of a forward butterfly motion. But no bicep swivel, no wrist swivel, none of that stuff. Her articulation, as you can tell by the way the arms do this, is kind of similar to Mo's articulation. But anyway, now we take this piece here, bring that down, and also push that up a little bit, because if the head is up all the way, it kind of sticks out like a weird little unicorn horn, so I like to just push it down a bit so it's settled more firmly. But anyway, you want to bring this down, and this little section here will actually tab in there. You can kind of hear it snap, so bring it down and then just keep pushing till it clicks. and that will lock that in place. Make sure the head is up all the way, and there is Twitch in her robot mode. And we'll talk about her in a minute. We still have to take care of Bumblebee. And for as simple as Bumblebee's transformation is, I think it's actually pretty clever in a lot of the things that it does. We'll get to some of the other things too, but yeah, basically, first thing you want to do is take this back wheel section and untab it. It tabs in right here. So unplug that. There you can see the tab, and there is the slot that it pegs into. So untab that and just bring it out. And we'll uncurl the arm now. So just move that out like so. Same thing here. Unpeg, then rotate out the arm. Take these flaps and fold them back, and this peg will peg into the wheel well, like so. Then you want to untab the entire top of the car. There are these little tabs on the backs of the thighs that this tabs into. So you want to pop that out and swing it around. And now, going back into vehicle mode, sometimes you may run into problems with this not wanting to stay down. What you need to do is you want to make sure that this waist assembly here is clicked together as much as it can be, because it is possible, due to the other stuff that this does, for this to not click in all the way. So just make sure you squeeze those hips together as hard as you can without, being, don't put them in like a vice or anything like that, but just give them a really hard squeeze to make sure they're together, because that can throw things off. You also may want to kind of shift the hips a little bit, because you can kind of rotate ever so slightly, and you just want to give those a little shift and push this down and really push these into those pegs. And you want to kind of push and squeeze and rotate if it's giving you trouble, and then you can kind of line everything up, and then it should stay down. It's a little bit awkward, but it's not impossible to get this to stay down. But sometimes, I've seen people talk about having problems getting this to stay down, so it is doable. You just gotta kind of mess with it a bit. Anyway, flip this up. These tabs will tab into this gap on the front of the car hood and actually click in. And now we are pretty much done. You want to take these flaps here and bend them down, and this peg will go into there, and that will give you the legs and feet. I need to zoom out more. And then you can split the legs, bring them out a little bit. And now for the head, I want to pull down this panel. You can see the head in there. Just want to rotate it out. And this was weirdly tight when I first got this guy. I ended up actually having to put some shock oil into the joints right by the edges of the panel there to loosen it up a little bit. And it's a little bit easier to get out now, but it was weirdly really difficult to rotate that head out before. But that's it. There we've got Bumblebee in his robot mode. I think the way his legs come together is really interesting. And those back sections of the car flipping around and clicking down actually make really, really sturdy heels. So that's cool. Now, we'll stick with Bumblebee since he's on screen right now. Again, very compromised. Though, all things considered, the robot mode doesn't look that bad. Yes, absolutely compromised. His legs are really chunky. His feet are just slabs to make toes. But he does have the red for his knees. The color breakup is pretty nice. Could do with some more paint, because you only get the kneecaps and then the chest. This is my biggest problem with Bumblebee. He needs more paint. But budget stuff, and we'll talk about that more even later. But yeah, this could do with more paint, but the color breakup is okay. And proportionally, it's not anywhere near as compromised as I would have expected. Again, given everything else that this does, even kibble-wise, it's not that bad. You got this back here, and these on the sides, but again, for what this is, it's pretty decent with the kibble. And he looks pretty darn good, all things considered. I do like that they did manage to do a little bit of blue in the chest with the Autobot logo. And yeah, I don't know. He looks, again, for what he is, I think he actually looks pretty good. Now the head is it's Earthspark Bumblebee, and the shape is nice. It's again kind of simple. It's just yellow plastic with the silver face and the blue eyes. It would have been nice if a little bit more detail was picked out, but this is, I'm acknowledging the fact that for what this toy is, I understand why that's not there. What does bum me out about this, though, is once again, absolutely no head rotation, which I can look past for the most part, but it's still kind of a bummer. And the back of the head is just a big old hollow thing. Whereas, like, Mo and Robby, their heads are just, like, full-on domes. So you don't have to, like, those don't have the gaps on the back. The backs of the human heads are probably just hollow, but you never see them, so it doesn't really matter. But, like, for the Transformers, it's like, But arms are, like, the same arms as... basically the same arms as Robby in terms of like shoulder articulation, including the fact that you can disconnect this piece and get kind of like backwards butterfly motion. The elbows can bend all the way up due to the transformation. They're very stiff too on this guy for some reason. But you got that. No waist articulation, big surprise. No thigh articulation, again, because none of them have it, but the hips can go forward and back. They can actually go back a lot further because he doesn't have all the stuff hanging off of his back that Mo, Robby, and even Twitch does, because Twitch is, they reach over here to grab Twitch. You can see that she does have a little like flap hanging down there too. But yeah, he can go back further, can go out way past 90. And then the knees, again, they kind of lock, and then they're looser bending this way, but Bee's knees are actually tighter going this way. So, like, it's still not, like, ratcheted or anything like that, or detented, but, like, this is a much more snug knee. It's like I can do this, and you see it's not really moving, which is nice. Also, for some reason, there's this little divot of plastic on the back of the leg there that keeps the knee from going more than 90. I kind of don't really know why they did that. Maybe they didn't want this tab to crash into back here or something. I don't know. But it would have been cool. He could have had more knee articulation, but they intentionally blocked it. And if you want to, you can unpeg this to kind of give him some slight toe articulation, but I don't think that's really useful. And that is Bumblebee's articulation. Twitch's articulation, or rather just looking at Twitch in general, I think Twitch's robot mode detailing and paint-wise is way better than Bumblebee's. Like, Bumblebee's color breakup is good, but look at all of the paint on Twitch. With that kind of bluish silver for the thighs, that nice black and yellow and red detail, or mostly black and yellow paint, but like the detail is now on the chest from the front of the drone mode, and then you've got this nice dark gunmetal and yellow in the shins. And in addition to that, you have the plastic and like the just normal plastic color breakup with the black toes, red shins, red thighs with the paint there, and then like the black midsection pelvis, the black kind of breaking up the middle of the arms. I just feel like Twitch in terms of deco, I think, is the vastly better looking of the two robots. But it is what it is. Also, her proportions, again, not bad for what this toy is. Not skinny enough in the midsection for how she's supposed to look, I think, and like the legs are definitely chunkier down here than they should be. But her proportions, just as a figure, are not bad. Again, considering. The head is probably the biggest compromise on her, because like the general shape is right. The could definitely use more paint, because it's just a red blob with like silver for the face and then yellow for the eyes, kind of like how Bee's head is just a yellow blob with silver and eyes painted. So, some extra detailing would be nice. Also, she is once again hollow back there, completely hollow, which is whatever, and no head articulation, no thigh swivel, no waist swivel, all that stuff. And she does the forward butterfly motion, as I mentioned during the transformation, so yeah. But the problem with the head is her face looks kind of puffy. Like she's either got a mouth full of something or she's about to spit out her gum. And I don't know, it's not a great face sculpt, I don't think. But it's a small thing to really worry about, considering, again, everything, all the other aspects about this figure. Now, since we looked at Robby and Mo before for size comparisons, we're just going to leave them out for... Well, actually, no, we'll bring them back because we got to do Burnout for the deluxe. But bringing in let's bring in the whole squad, actually. So, got B and Twitch, and Robby, and come here, Mo. And Mo. So there is the entire squad all together. That is how they measure up. They're pretty much all the same height. I think B is ever so slightly taller just because of his horns, but they're basically the same height. Now, as for how tall they actually are, since we used Robby last time, we'll use Mo this time, compared to other bipedal robot modes. Let's get them all set up and bring in our size comparisons once more. So here is Artfire and Oviprime, our surrogate tall deluxe, and Samus. Bring this back down. Actually, I should have just angled the camera. Yeah, and then we pop, get rid of Artfire and Samus for a reason here, and bring in Burnout. You can see that, yeah, again, despite their very, very obvious compromises, they're not short comparatively. Like, they are taller than a typical deluxe. They're much more in the tall deluxe window, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So that's pretty cool. But of course, what you all really want to know is how big they are next to the duck tank. Okay, now it's time to do the really fun thing, the thing that makes these figures so great. And if you are not familiar with what the whole conceit of these 2-packs is, well, you are in for a treat. So we're gonna do Twitch and Robby because we did Bumblebee and Mo when we did like the first kind of 2-pack off. So start with Twitch and Robby. And now we're going to do the fun thing. And okay, so for Robby, to open up his chest, which is empty because the head's got to rotate in there, but rotate the dome down the chest, close the chest back up, take the arms and unpeg them from here and rotate this up. Use this joint here to bring the arm back, and then you want to rotate the arm 90 degrees, and there is a slot inside the bicep that will peg over this tab on the back. And that locks in together like that. And it's actually pretty cool how this is shaped so that it goes around this kind of section here. So it's like, simple though these toys may be, they're also actually really smartly designed, really kind of cleverly done. So you want his arms like that. And this is kind of like the basic mode for Robby, but we are going to start with Robby on the bottom. So we also want to take the backs of the legs here. I find the easiest way to do this is to push up here, but you want to push up here to pop this section out. This swings around, and this will peg into the bottom of the toe. And that makes the foot bigger and taller. Same thing on this side. Do that. And there we've got Robby all ready to go. And for Twitch, keep this off to the side too. For Twitch does some cool stuff too. So you want to untab the VTOLs and rotate them back. And you don't have to angle them all the way back. I'm just doing it to kind of give myself a little bit of space here. Now you want to take the forearms and break them in half and swing them up like so. And now you want to bring the VTOLs back, and there's a tab here that will tab in up here, and then the peg here will peg into the bottom of the fist. So you need to swing this around, kind of line everything up, which is difficult to show, but you want to line all that up, peg that in, just give it a squeeze, and you can actually kind of wiggle this around just a little bit after you get it pegged in, so kind of find a good position for it, just have that pegged in. Same deal here, bring this in and peg it into the back of the forearm, and then peg the peg into the fist, and you do need to bring the fist out ever so slightly. Like it doesn't sit right up against the forearm, so you do want to angle it out a little bit as you bring this together. So you want to do that. Now, zoom back out here. Take Twitch's head and fold it all the way down into the chest. Take the toes and flip them up. And then you want to take the knees and bend them forward, like so. Now comes the really cool part, and we're actually going to need to back things up a little bit here, because I'm going to take Twitch and Robby. You'll notice that they both have these clips on them. They are the same design because they're designed to connect together like this. So you plug them together like this, and with Twitch up on top here, want to bring the legs out and then pull to separate this piece. And as you do, this piece will flip up. So you bring this down, that flips down, and now we have whatever this is called. It's Twitch on top of Robby, making this dual combiner. And yeah, it's basically Transformers Energon, the gimmick, the Power Links gimmick from Transformers Energon. They brought it back, and more successfully than what happened in Energon, in my opinion. Even though these are much simpler toys, the way that this all works is really cool. Like, you don't have, I don't feel nearly as much horrific kibble for either the, Transformers or the humans. Yeah, you've got the waffling back here, and like some other stuff is obviously compromised. Again, this is really where the thigh swivels would be nice. But this is very cool. I like how this looks. I like the, kind of bulkier legs with the slimmer arms. I love how Twitch's thing kind of flips down, and these little flaps here kind of go around this whole bit on the chest there, so you still get that design, and it partially covers the vents, but not completely, but it like just changes the torso just enough that I think is really cool. And the proportions on this robot, on this combine mode, are not terrible, really. I think they work pretty darn well, and like here, the color on Twitch and Robby really shines. It really goes a long way. Now, the combination Twitch's head is better, I think, than her regular default head, but she still kind of looks like she's, got a mouthful. But I like how it's basically Twitch's regular head, but a little bit more super-ish, like super mode-y. And you've got this turquoise-ness for the visor and the head crest now, because now she has a visor. And I don't know, I just think it's cool how it kind of looks like Twitch Plus, It's a good design that, unfortunately, again, does not move. Which, once again, I'm willing to give it a pass, because, I'm an authority on this thing. But, like, it would be cool if the head could rotate. I feel like they could have made it happen. It's just, hollow back there. But, like, I feel like that could have happened, probably if they had the budget for it. But it's still... it's still a cool gimmick, and I like how this just automatically flips around. That's one of the things that this does a lot better than the original Energon gimmick, is you get an entirely new head for the combine mode, rather than just using the regular robot mode head. But What's also cool about this is the articulation in the arms is actually like kind of exactly what you want. Because of the fact that these are thighs, you get the in and out motion here. You can kind of use this joint too, but that's really just for transformation. But like you get the outward motion. You actually get a bicep swivel now because of the way the hips move. And they actually engineered a joint in the shoulder so that the arms can move forward and back. Like, that is so cool. It's just, if they just had a thigh swivel, maybe they didn't put one in because you already have this joint, but I feel like the addition of a thigh swivel wouldn't have disrupted that at all. So I don't know, but I really wish they had thigh swivels because the leg articulation does not change at all. But you do get about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. The problem with that is you've either got straight up and down, or if you push it past that kind of clicking point, you get the friction, but it only goes so far. Like, you can't straighten the arm out naturally. You can't go any closer to straight than this. So it's always going to be either absolutely straight or at least slightly kind of bent. And that's a little bit of a shame. And also, as I said, the waist down articulation is exactly the same. Nothing changes. It's no waist articulation, no thigh swivels. And yeah. Again, it's not terrible. It's just I really, really wish they had thigh swivels because I feel like there's just enough articulation to almost get really expressive with the combined modes. And then the legs are just like, yeah, well, they stand on them. But yeah, there's, also Robby's gun. The pegs on the bottoms of Twitch's toes, which are now fists, which you can actually see they're vaguely molded in the shape. Actually, zoom in. They're vaguely molded in the shape of fists, which is actually pretty cool. You just plug the gun in there, and there you've got the combination wielding Robby's cannon. Now, B and Mo. Similar deal. I think just because I'm gonna do Mo and B as their same configuration as Twitch and Robby right now, and don't worry, I'm gonna go through all the other possible combinations. But for Mo, going to come down here, and there are these little tabs on the side here. Robby doesn't have these tabs, but Mo does. So there's little tabs. You just pull the tab so you can swing this around and peg that into the bottom of the feet, just like Robby. Same deal here. And that is the lower body all done. Now for the upper body, I want to open the chest, swing the head in, just like Robby, and there you go. And now this is where things are different. You want to fold back the wings, and then they rotate down like this and can kind of click in a little bit. So you want the wings back like this. And you do kind of want to angle them because otherwise they just won't straighten out because of this thing back here. Same deal here, you can rotate this in, kind of clicks, and then fold that back. There you go. Now you want to fold the forearm in half. This you can tuck all the way up because unlike Twitch, there's actually a tab here and a little slot on the inside of the forearm. So you just peg those together. And same deal on this side. Just peg those together. And now Mo is in her pants mode. Put her off to the side. And Bumblebee's transformation into torso mode is a bit different than Twitch's. So you want to put bend the elbow up all the way, unplug this joint up here, bring this back, and there is a tab here that plugs into a slot back here. Just plug the arm in like that. Same thing here. And you don't actually have to worry about this piece because this is spring-loaded. As you bring this back, it actually pushes this flap back. So that's cool. And that just pegs in. Now, open the door and flip B's head back in and close it. flip up the toes, and give the knees a little forward bend. And now B is ready. I'm gonna bring back Mo and plug them together, just like Twitch and Robby. And there we go. And now this is something that kind of bums me out about Bumblebee. His gimmick on mine is a little stuck. So you pop the section open and bring the arms down, and you can see that the combined mode head has not shown up. That's because there's something going on with the tolerances right in here where it just can't spring all the way forward. It gets stuck. So I end up having to give it a little bit of a tap to push it the rest of the way. But here we've got this combined mode with B on top, Mo on the bottom. And again, it's cool. I like this. I don't mind the imbalance with like the skinnier legs and the bulkier upper body. The arms, the forearms are very chunky, but it doesn't really bother me. The thing that really bothers me, though, about Bumblebee, and this is something, it bothered me a little bit in robot mode, but it really bothers me in his torso mode. You get the new head, but there is no other paint visible in this mode at all. Like, if you rotate him around, you can see a little hint of paint on the back there. And, like, you can kind of see some paint up in here, but, like, that's kibble. There is no new paint aside from the combined mode face in his torso mode at all. There's no paint at all, not even new paint. There is no paint. It's just yellow plastic and black plastic. And that really bugs me. He really needed a little bit more here. Like, maybe some extra paint down in here, maybe even just some yellow so that it's not just like a strip of black going up into more black for what are now the biceps. Maybe some paint in the little chest plate here. That would have been nice. It really sucks that there is no paint aside from the face in this version of B's combined mode. That really sucks. But that's how they did it. And I like these figures enough. I'm going to probably end up painting them in the future in some capacity. So I'll probably, that'll remedy the problem for me. But for now, this is a bummer. But if we take a look at the combined mode head, this is a really cool head. I like how it's, again, kind of very similar to B's regular head, but a little bit more super mode-y, and he's got a visor now instead of the eyes, and it's really cool. It's very Jazz-esque, actually, the kind of downward, kind of V-shaped visor pointing, going slightly over his nose. But it's like that same kind of greenish color, and it looks cool. The head is, once again, hollow in back and has no articulation, but oh well, it is what it is. Now, the articulation for B's torso mode is the same as Twitch's. He's got that joint, so you get that extra motion. You can get the outward motion there. You can use the hip rotation now as a bicep, and you get the elbows that have the same problem of they can bend. Well, actually, B's elbows are, as I'm looking at it, okay, you can push up past that and actually get to 90, but he actually has, that is flexing something, so maybe you don't want to do that. But yeah, his elbow basically just bends like that. So his elbow is not as good as Twitch's elbow. And Mo's lower body articulation is exactly the same as her regular lower body articulation. And as before, we can take sword, and that can plug into either one of B's now hands. So you've got that going on. And it's cool. I mean, I do think it's cool. There we've got the two of them together in their respective shirt and pants modes. So you can see how that works out. And yeah, these are very cool. But what's even cooler, the reason I keep playing with these is they're fun to flip back and forth between their different robot, vehicle, and combined modes, or exosuit and combined modes. But since we did Twitch and Robby first, we'll go back to Bumblebee and Mo. You can also switch it around, because this is the Energon gimmick. So just fold B's thing back up, bring this back in, and this is where you want to make sure you really click that waist section together. You want to make sure it clicks. So do that. There we've got that, and now you can take this entire like folded up assembly here actually rotates on a hinge that you may not have realized was there, because I definitely didn't realize it at first. But yeah, you hinge that forward and it gives B some really nice feet. And there you got that. And for Mo, you want to unpeg the bigger combined mode feet and fold the toes back. And that gives you the kind of approximation of fists. You can bend the knees forward, and once again, you pop this apart, bring it down, and now you've got Mo in upper body mode and B in lower body mode, and that is how that works out. And you can give Mo sword, and yeah, the articulation all the same. The elbow does bend to 90 though, so there is that. But like no articulation on the head. The arms do have the same joints and all that good stuff. And it's very cool. I like the variability, and I like doing like that silly little cartwheel to to shift between the modes, like the top and bottom mode. And Mo's combined mode upper body section is really cool. I actually like this quite a bit. I like the kind of V-shaped visor that's, I guess, almost heart-shaped in a way. And the kind of, I don't know, I don't want, like, for some reason this makes me think of Ultraman, but not really. I think it's more like Super Sentai in the way the helmet is shaped, with the big visor that like covers the entire face. And like the additional like molding that pops out in the chest here, and it's really cool. It is just unfortunate that, just like everything else, it's a non-moving hunk of hollow plastic. But once again, the head not rotating is not as much of an issue for me as the thighs not rotating, because B's lower body just as immobile as it is in his regular lower body mode. I'm not immobile, but like just as hindered, just as stuff's not there. But one thing that is cool that I kind of figured out as I was messing with the set, with Mo in particular, is the wings are actually pegged in. They're not fixed, so you can just pop them out. And the reason that's cool is because you can unpeg them from the back here, fold them back out, and then what I like to do is just rotate these, and then you can actually plug the wings into her hands. And do the same thing on this side. So plug the wings in there. And you can angle them and stuff. So now you can actually give the combined mode, when Mo is the top part, you can give the combined mode like a visible wingspan. And I think that's really cool. And it's not connected to the combined mode arms, so you can still move them independently. That's neat. Now, bringing back Twitch and Robby, it's much the same thing, where you can kind of reset all of this. You can bring Twitch's toes down, and then there are little tabs here. You can pull that out, swing that around, and peg that in place. And same deal on this side. Swing it around, peg it in place. Flip this whole panel back, bring this up, and clip that together. Twitch's waist section doesn't hold together. Like, it holds, but like there's a little unsightly gap to it, which kind of bums me out. But anyway, you can do that with Twitch. And now Twitch is ready to be pants. And then you just flip them over. And again, I really love how that works. It's fun. And then again, for Robby, pop the thing out, flip the toes up, just like with Mo and almost Bumblebee and Twitch. Bend the knees forward. And then once more, you bring the legs down, pop them open, flip them down, and Robby, why is that? Why is that not going down all the way? That's weird. Hasn't done that before. I wonder if something happened to the spring. I don't think so. But anyway, Robby's upper body mode is done, and can give him the bazooka thing as you do. And yeah, again, it's cool. It's a bulkier upper body, especially in the arms. You can also see that the head sculpt and torso design are decidedly different than Mo's. Like, zoom out a little bit more. I like that the brother and sister have, or sister and brother have different designs for their combined mode upper bodies and lower bodies. But like, I don't know. I think it makes sense that they would have different helmet designs, but it's still cool. Like how Robby's visor is bigger, not like as angled or I guess heart-shaped, though it's not really a heart. It's got, a more straight-lined head crest, whereas Mo's kind of flares out a bit and has more of a diamond shape to it. He's got a more of a grill-like center part and like flatter outer parts of the chest, whereas Mo's got, less detail going on in here, but more detail going on the sides. It is cool. Like it very much. Like that difference. And the articulation on Robby and Twitch in this mode is again, Twitch's lower body articulation is exactly the same as before. Robby's, you've got the rotation, the elbow actually bends the furthest out of all of them. So yeah, that is how that all comes together, but we are still not done. This just keeps going. This video is going to be extremely long, but I'm gonna just pop everyone apart here, and actually give me a second. Yeah, I'm not gonna make you sit through all the transformations that I just went through, because it's just going back and forth between pants and torso modes, but you can combine Robby and Mo and Twitch and B, so there is how they look like that. And actually in pants mode, Bumblebee does sit just a little bit higher. You can kind of tell where like the line where they connect is just a little bit higher on B. So B's pants mode makes the combined mode a tiny bit taller than the other combined mode. But yeah, this is how Twitch on top, Bumblebee on the bottom, Robby on top, Mo on the bottom, how that all looks. And it's very cool. I particularly like how these two they're both the same, they have the same color palettes, so they work really well together. Also, because of the fact that Robby's fists are right back here, it's actually pretty cool. You can take the cannon and like plug it into his fist and give him like a shoulder cannon, which I just think is really neat. It does get in the way of the arm a little bit if you let it, but like that's still cool. I like that as an option. Okay, now these are actually my preferred setup for all of these figures. I like the way this all works because, okay, so I think all the other ones I think do look cool in their own rights. But again, you've got the more cohesive colors with having Robby and Mo together, but I think having Mo on top works better because you've got the slightly beefier looking legs and the slimmer looking arms, which I think just really serve the combined mode's proportions a little better. And also having the wings is just cool. Unfortunately, in this configuration, you do not get to do the shoulder cannon because of, Robby's arms being down here, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, this is really cool. And then Bumblebee and Bumblebee on top with Twitch on the bottom, I also think looks really cool because, Twitch has so much paint in robot mode that really offsets the lack of paint in B's torso mode. So, because, it's pretty much Twitch's robot mode is just all on full display here, minus the head. So there's that color balance. There's the added yellow you get down here, which I think helps to bring, and also down in the shins, that really helps to kind of bring the color schemes together better. And also the slight imbalance here of having the beefier torso and the slightly slimmer legs also works, but like Twitch's legs are thicker than Mo's legs, so this also balances out with Bee's bulkiness a little bit better. But yeah, this is how I prefer to have them, except I also like to split the weapons up between them because I just think that's preferable. So I give Robby and Mo the cannon, and I give Bee and Twitch the sword. And the reason I give them the sword is just because the cannon is just black plastic, so putting that in Bumblebee's hands just makes the lack of paint problem even worse. So this at least adds a little bit of extra color to the combination. But yeah, that is the four of them all combined up. And unfortunately, this Neon Twitch, it's a little bit loose in like between its locking points. So this can cause some stability problems. That's just a me thing. I don't think that's universal, but it is unfortunate. So I kind of have to offset it by rotating the hips a bit more. After all that, I realized I never actually did any examples of combining Bee with Robby and Twitch with Mo. So, pardon me, we're doing that now. So yeah, here you've got the two bulkier figures together and the two slimmer figures together, and I think they do work combination-wise, though I'm still of the mindset that Mo as a pair of legs doesn't work as well as any of the others because her Exosuit's legs are so slim. It just kind of is a little bit to me, but who knows, maybe if they do more of these in the future, we'll get other figures that are a little bit more proportionally similar to Mo's design, and then they'll work really well together with Mo as a pair of legs. Like, I don't know, maybe Nightshade. Maybe, maybe Thrash, because Thrash is kind of slim, right? But yeah, that's how they look. And let's flip them around real quick. Here they are, all inverted. So we now have Mo and Twitch, and Bumblebee and Robby. And these combinations also work really well. This is, I think, where you can also see how the Robby plus Bee combination works pretty well because they're both bulkier figures. I mean, this one works too, but I think proportions-wise, this one works a little bit better. But yeah, that is all of the possible combinations now. Can't believe I forgot to do this when I was initially filming, but hey, we did it. Woo! But yeah, there are the two combined modes all together, and they're cool, and as I said, they are incredibly fun to mess around with and flip back and forth, cartwheel back and forth, whatever. Like, these things, they haven't left my desk because I've been getting into the habit of keeping figures that I haven't made videos on, that I've gotten in that I haven't made videos on my desk as a reminder that I need to actually make videos of them. But they're also, like, they've been on my desk for a while because they're just really fun to keep messing with. I really like doing that. And as you can see, the combined modes are not a slouch in terms of height. They're vaguely leader height, give or take. And again, they look really cool. They look cool and they're fun to mess with. They definitely are compromised, and the other modes are very compromised because of the nature of all of this, but it's still really cool. Like, you know, bring in a standard deluxe there, you can see that they are quite big. And once again, I'm realizing I should have grabbed a leader class figure because they're roughly leader class size. I am a professional. No, I'm not. I've never even said I was a professional. What leader do I want to grab? Who is the easiest one to reach? Okay, you'll do. Bringing you in. So, here we go. Here they are with a leader. And yeah, they're maybe a little bit shorter. A little bit shorter than a liter, but not by a whole heck of a lot. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, you get, even if you just get one 2-pack, you get 2 tall deluxes that can combine to make a short liter. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, there they are with the duck tank. And that'll do it for the 2 Earthspark Cyber Combiner 2-packs that we have gotten so far. I really, really hope they do more of these. I also would not be upset if they started doing more Energon in Legacy and brought back the Power Links gimmick, because this is really cool. They found a way to like both simplify the Power Links thing while also streamlining it to the point where like it's simpler. You don't have anywhere near as much kibble, at least from the Power Link stuff I've messed with. You don't have anywhere near as much kibble to deal with. You're not bending the entire robot in half because of that whole pelvis trick. So it works better. You've got a new head that pops out for the combined mode torso bit. You've got foot extensions. I mean, they kind of did that in Energon too, but you didn't get a new head. But like, this is just so much better. It flows better. It's more fun. Like, Energon wasn't bad. It wasn't unfun, but this is more fun. You've got much less overall kibble. Like, you do still have kibble around the back. It's not exactly, you know, like, it is a bit messy back there, but like, compared to, like, let's be real, compared to what we actually got in Energon, that is so much cleaner. And it's a really good, like, it's really cool how they took modern engineering, modern techniques, modern design, and improved this gimmick that, like, I just really want to see more of these. I really do. And the thing is, too, I've enjoyed these so much, it's actually got me thinking of getting back into Power Link stuff. Like, not the whole line. Obviously, there are some that I do not want, but like, Ironhide was fun to combine. The Cliff Jumper mold, I used to have Beachcomber. Never getting him again. That's going to be way too expensive. But like, the Cliff Jumper mold, very fun. The Ironhide plus Cliff Jumper, like, they make really good combinations together, just the two of them. And then there's, you know, there are others that can combine. I still would love to get a deluxe Optimus Prime that can Power Links, because they are out there. It's just, these have reawakened an interest in a gimmick in me that I didn't even know was there, laying dormant. Like, I love these. They're really cool. They look neat when they're combined. Yes, they are super duper compromised in their other modes, but like, even that's fine. They're not hateful. They're not like Crash combiners. They're not like, you know, RID combiners where it's a slab of a vehicle that like you pull the legs down and like that's it. You just pull the vehicle in half and like it's extended slightly. And that's the robot mode. And the arm is just flip out a fist. Like, this is a better realized and an overall cleverer gimmick that's been, you know, than compared to like the Crash combiners and the other RID stuff. It's like, this is really, really cool. And it's the kind of thing that I feel like works for both kids and collectors. I just want more. I just want more. But I have sung the praises of all of these things long enough. That is what I think of both of the current Cyber Combiner 2-packs. What do you all think of any of these figures or any of these combinations? Or, you know, what you might want to see in the future? Because I don't know how many other humans could be put in exosuits, but there are plenty of other Transformers that could totally be in a 2-pack. I would love that. I would buy all of them. I am not even kidding. I would buy all of them. Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you all for watching, and believe it or not, this one is actually the least involved of the videos I was planning on making. So the next one's probably going to be even longer.